All right, so this is the last new concept of the unit. We're just going to go over graphing slope in a few different ways. Some of those ways you already know. Some of those ways are going to be a little bit new, but this is all based on the concept that every straight line has some kind of slope. Either it's a positive slope, a negative slope, a zero slope where it's super duper flat, or an undefined slope that goes straight up and down. So positive slopes go up from left to right, negative slopes go down from left to right, zero slopes don't go up or down at all because it's flat, and then undefined slopes are like cliff faces. They just go straight up and down. There is no side-to-side movement at all. So talking about that, find the slope of each line. We've practiced these a lot of different ways. Number one says find the slope of the line, and our graph, whoa, no, let me try again. Our graph looks something like, okay, so we have a point here. I'm going to use my bigger brush. We've got a point here, and we've got a point over here. So we have two different ways to address this. And I'm going to draw my line. Both of those points have physical locations, right? We can tell exactly where they are, even if my line looks a little funny. So this first point up here, does it have any x component? It doesn't move side to side, right? So it's at 0. How far does it go up? It goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's at 0, 5 because it doesn't go side to side, starting in the middle. It doesn't go side to side, but it does go up 5 units. What about this other one? Let's go ahead and use green for this one. This point doesn't have an up and down movement, so my y is 0, but it does have a forward movement, right? It's forward 1, 2, 3 squares. So it starts in the middle, 1, 2, 3 squares. So it's a positive 3 because we went forward 3 squares, and it doesn't move up and down at all, so that's a 0. How can we figure out the slope of the line? Well, slope is simply the change in the y, how far it goes up and down, over the change in the x. How far does it go side to side, right? So two different ways to do this. But the way that I recommend is just by counting. You can just count the squares, right? How far does it go up from the middle? Or how far does it go up from one point to the other? That's the more precise way of dealing with it. So how far does it go up? Doesn't matter which point you start from and which point you go to. So let's say I'm starting from the red dot, from the red point. To get to the green point, I have to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units, right? So I have to go down 5 units. So it's 5 units. If I go down, is that a positive or a negative? It is a negative because up is positive, right? Over, what's the distance on the x-axis? Well, from where I left off, I'm going to go back to where I left off. To get to the second point, from the red point to the green point, I'm going to go forward 1, 2, 3. So I went forward 3, and because it's forward, it's a positive number, right? So I went down 5 and forward 3. What's my simplified fraction for that? Well, try putting it in a calculator, but you're just going to get -5/3. And that's my slope. It went down 5 and forward 3. Hey, how's it going?